What we're going to do today is we're going to look at a basic introduction to a 12-bar blues sequence that I used that for lessons this week. It's really easy to start with. Please make sure you do have a copy of the PDF as a reference, and if you need a copy of the PDF, just WhatsApp me or inbox me via my channel and I'll be happy to send it to you. And let's get going at the first intro riff, the one that looks like this. That is probably the most basic sort of blues type of sequence you've probably heard. It's been used hundreds of thousands of times because it sounds so cool, and there's no speed restraint. You can go fast, or you can have that Monday morning blues where everything's just really gone bad. It just works. Now, enough talking, let's see how to play this. We're going to focus first on our tab sheet and what our fretting hand is doing. We're going to start off with our first finger on the second fret, fourth string. Remember, we count from the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to pluck both your fifth string and your fourth string at the same time. Now, if you look at the tab, you will notice that we've color coded it as well. So basically, the first riff that you're looking at implies the chord A. See, we're not strumming A, we're not doing this because it doesn't sound very bluesy. We're going to do this, which I'm hoping you can realize that it's got the same sort of tonality, the same implication, that it's implying the chord A. Now, we're going to start with finger 1. My fingers are nice and clearly numbered for you. We're not going to use the middle finger. Number 2 for this exercise is not going to be used. I'd like you to use your ring finger. Number 3 for all the 4s, in other words, fret 4s. And when you get to fret 5, please use your pinky. So it's a nice pinky exercise as well. Please get him working in the 5th fret. Okay. Now, looking at the top where it says exercise 1, in the blue you'll see it goes 2, 2, 4, 4, 5, 5, 4, 4. That's the first bar. Now, be careful of the timing. I've had 1 or 2 students do this by accident. 2, 2, 4, 4, 5, 5. And that's not what we want. If you look at the spacing, like we said, it will help indicate the timing that we need. And there's a space between the 2 and the second 2. So it's 2, 2. When you go to the 4, you'll notice the second 2 on the tab to the 4 are really close together. So it's 2, 4. Quick change. 2, 4. Then there's a space between that first 4 and the second 4. And then the second 4 goes to the 5 very quick. So if you do it super slow, we're going to have something like this. And I'm going to count you in and I want you to try it with me. 2 and 3 and 4 and... Simple as that. That's your first bar. Now, if you look at the top row, you'll notice there's 4 bars of A. There's 4 bars in blue. If you were to play those 4 bars, they would sound something like this. I'm going to count you in so you can join me. 2 and 3 and 4 and... Super easy. Now, if you look at the next line, you'll see it says D, and it's in a sort of a brown-red thing. I've had a few sort of debates with this brown or red on the PDF, but anyway, you'll see it's a different color. And the D simply has moved from this down a string. In essence, the numbers are identical, so nothing really changes excepting the strings that you're playing. So your D should be 2 bars, and I'm going to include now our strumming hand as well. And I'd like us to notice I am using a pick. You don't have to use a pick if you don't want to. I just think a pick maybe works a bit better. And when I play the A riff, it's those 2 strings, 5 and 4. When I go to the D, 4 and 3. So my picking hand moves down. So if you're looking at the D now, you can see my first finger over here is on the 3rd string now. 1, 2, 3. It's moved down a string. It's going to be something like this. 3 and 4 and it comes back to the A again. And then the last line, you'll notice I've color coded, like I said, everything. So all the riffs in E, all the riffs that imply the chord E are going to be in green for this study. So if you look at exercises 2, 3, and 4, you'll see that the color sequence remains the same. In other words, 4 blues, 2 browns or reds, 2 blues, and then the last line in each occasion is going to be green, red, blue, green. So that sequence is very important. And for the E riff, we're now starting on the 5th string. You can see my first finger there on the 5th string. Now I'm going to play string 6 and 5. So your last line is going to go pretty quick in the changes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 onto brown, onto blue, and you end up with the E in green again. That is your basic 12-bar blues sequence. Now before we go to exercise 2, which is, before we get there, I want us to play through together the entire 12-bar blues using exercise 1, just so that you can get your ear ready to the sequence that's actually happening over here, the actual stereotype sort of basic 12-bar blues sequence. There are variations, but this one arguably is probably the most common ever used. Okay, let's go. 2 and 3 and 4 and A. 1 and 2 and 3 to D. Back to A. To E. To D. And A. End on the E. And then also what's quite cool is maybe add a little bit of palm damping. I'm hoping that you heard the dynamics over there, the bright sound and the dampened. And all I'm doing is I'm bringing my strumming hand palm, my picking hand palm, onto the saddles. Those are the saddles over here by the bridge, this little part over here. I'm resting it just enough that my string is slightly muffled. You can see inside there, and you can hear it, I'm sure. So a bit of palm damping always sounds cool. Now, off we go to exercise 2. We're going to be starting now with your first finger fret 5, 6th string. And your first 2 5s, notice a bit of a gap there? Should sound like that. Now for the double 7 that you're going to see, you'll see there's 2 7s written on top of each other, 2 7s vertically. You can decide, do you want to use your ring finger playing across string 4 and 3? Or would you prefer to use your finger? Pinky finger on 4 and 3. You can decide. Ring finger, pinky finger. I don't really mind, both make sense. And if you accidentally touch your 2nd string, that's quite acceptable. You're not going to play it anyway. So you're going to start off with a double 5 like we said, and then jump down with either ring finger or pinky. That's your call. But for the following, the double 5s that are also vertical, definitely the first finger. So, and pay attention to the timing. Look for when the rests are, or the pauses are rather. It's got a swing feel. That's when you're counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, typical blues vibe. So it's 1 and 2 and that's your first part. One more time. And you finish off with 3 notes, and again pay attention to the timing. 7 5. Notice the crossing strings. 7 5. That's quick. And you end on the 7 on the 4th string with maybe a little bit of vibrato, like that. And you can put vibrato on the 5 as well. Vibrato is really personal opinion, and it sounds pretty sweet. Now to bring your picking hand back into the picture, you'll notice my picking hand is sort of quite resting on the bridge over here as well, and it's going to look and sound something like this. On the first finger. You don't have to do the vibrato, but I personally think it sounds really sweet. So try the vibrato. It really sounds cool. Okay, now with the second exercise, when you go from the 4 blues, in other words the 4 bars of A to the 2 bars of D, which is in red, what you've just done, this section over here, simply slides up to fret number 10, and you do the same thing. Down to the A. So if you take an outside view on this, with the first exercise we basically stayed in fret 2, 4 and 5, and we shifted strings. We just just shift the strings like that. But with this one, we're shifting positions, so we're staying on the same strings. When you go to the D, same thing happening, nothing changes, just different place. And eventually when you get to the green, all that's really happening with that there is you're going all the way to the double dot. Notice you've got little dots on top of your guitar. There's little dots over there, you can see them. They're to help you get your fret numbers. And fret number 12 for your new E. Okay, so if you had to play the 12-bar blues now, this is called Texas blues. This one, by the way, I should have mentioned at the beginning. The style that we're playing now is referred to often as Texas blues. Got a nice ZZ Top sort of vibe. And let's play it the whole way through. 2 and 3 and 4 and... Your basic sort of 12-bar blues now with exercise 2. Now the fun part comes in over here is if we rewind and we think of exercise 1, this was your A riff, correct? And this exercise 2 we just did, it's got this as your A riff. So instead of doing 4 bars of the same A riff as a nice fun exercise to help get your accuracy, your finger movement, your finger jumps, we're going to do 1 bar down here, 1 bar down there, 3rd bar will be back to here, 4th bar will be back there, and now we've done our 4 bars in blue. So now it's going to sound like this. Onto D, down a string, fret 10, back to the blue. So you see how cool it is to interact between the two. You can swap them around and change them. Now on your PDF there's 4 exercises. I'm going to start the 3rd exercise. The 4th exercise is a bit more tricky. I'm going to leave a separate video for that. But let's give a quick look now at page 2 exercise 3. It's going to start off with finger 1 on the 5th fret, playing the bottom 2 strings. It's more of a rock and roll sort of vibe. This very sort of Chuck Berry, Elvis, sort of that type of vibe. And you're going to go from the double to fret number 7, 5, 6, all in the 3rd string. So one more time, slow motion. Got that? And then your last note is a 7 on the 4th string. One more time, slowly. And the cool thing with this as well is when you go to the D, nothing really changes. All that really happens is you move it to fret 10 for D. Back to fret 5, 12 for the E, back to 10 for the D, and so on. And the fun part is, before we run out of time now, is that we can actually interchange these 3. So what I'm saying over here is you've got 4 bars of A, 4 bars of blue that we're starting off with, and you can do something like this. Quite a different sort of dynamic sound by alternating these over here, and it all sounds pretty sweet. And if you really want to as well, you can add some overdrive into it. And this is the cool thing about blues, there's no wrong way to play it. Here comes the overdrive. And you can really have some fun with this. And eventually, if you want to add some pentatonic into it, in other words, if you know this scale, you can get something like this. And you can start having some pretty cool riffs and lead work inside, but that's a case for another day. Hope you enjoyed it. If there's any questions, please drop me a WhatsApp, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Have an awesome week. Take care.